All right, podcast number 2. This week I went and interviewed Marty. I was friends with Marty's boy in high school. He's got one of the most impressive walls of whitetails. I don't think anybody has a more impressive one around. It's pretty crazy. He's not down the rabbit hole on some things that I am quite as far, but he is playing by the rules completely when it comes to access, when it comes to wind, and he's leaving the place alone. And his timing. So it's an interesting perspective. I may be overthinking things a little bit, but it was a pretty cool interview, and he kind of took me on a tour of where he's going. So I'm going to try to put that all together so it makes sense. And we'll see how that goes. So that's a big part of the process then is
age.
Age?
Yes.
So,
and you need the genetics, but you got to have age. If they can get 4.5 or older, then they start getting.
So it's passing
Passing,
years how
yes.
to get them. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know any other way around it because, if somebody shoots them, then they're not around the next year for sure.
Right. Chad Smith here again. This is Marty. Marty. I don't think you know this exactly. I spent a lot of time here when I was a kid, and when I was maybe 14, I bought my first bow because you guys were archery hunting. My dad was against archery hunting because you had to burn your rifle tag. Right? So he sent me out the first fall, and he said anything 10 points or bigger. And I saw a couple of decent 8s. But that's kind of the rifle hunting culture, and you have to learn to pass deer that way. Yeah. Anyway, but
I had the same when I started bow hunting at home. My older brother didn't bow hunt, and he hated me hunting deer hunting.
Sure.
He was rifle hunting. So
because you burn your tag.
No, because I'd shoot at the deer that he was after rifle hunting. So,
oh, sure.
Yeah, either that or scare him away.
You get a head start.
Yeah.
So I guess I've never. It's kind of strange because I grew up being over here quite a bit, and I guess I don't know what was your history. How did you get into the archery stuff? And
I had my brother-in-law actually got me going into it when we were back at home. After. I hunted a little bit before, as a teenager and stuff, and then when my sister married him when I was in my early 20s, and then he got me going pretty good then.
Sure. So what year was that ballpark?
Oh boy, it would have been, 73 I graduated, so about 76, 77.
Okay. So it's been a while.
Yeah. I started out shooting fawn when I was younger, and
sure.
Shot a couple does. And then I went bucks only.
Sure.
Yeah. And not big ones. I started out back in the 70s. If you shot a deer, you were considered a hero if you shot with a bow because there was no deer to be found. Hardly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tough to find.
Yeah, my dad said when they were rifle hunting in the 70s, if you saw a doe and two fawn, you shot them all.
Yeah.
Because you weren't going to see any.
Yeah.
But
it was tough.
So when did you go from the point of shooting decent? When did you start targeting the big
Actually,
ones?
not until we moved here, maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
It was when we started seeing plenty of deer and knew that we could let some go, and then hopefully they got bigger. Yeah.
So that's a big part of the process then is
age.
Age.
Yes.
So
and you need the genetics, but you got to have age. If they can get 4.5 or older, then they start getting.
So it's passing
Passing,
here is how
yes.
you get them. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know any other way around it because, you know, yeah, if somebody shoots them, then they're not around the next year for sure.
Right.
No, we'll hunt the area hoping something else moves in or whatever, but if we look, you know, I got cameras out. I got half a dozen more cameras out and plus some that come to our phone. So if we start seeing one that's potentially, you know, we just say we're not shooting it, we pass it up is basically.
Okay.
But we still hunt the area because something else could move in during the rut and stuff. So
Sure.
and we take the chance of chasing it out, but
Sure. But I'm saying then once you get one, the age class that you're looking for.
oh, okay.
I mean, and you showed me pictures of ones that were 3.5 that most people would certainly shoot, but you're trying to graduate them to really big. But when you get one that is that range, then
shooting range.
yeah, then how do you approach that? I mean, are you prepping a stand in the summer and?
Yeah, we go in and well, we put our food plots up. We position where we think it's going, our stands and everything. We got a lot of stands permanent that it's been year after year. They're in a pretty good spot. We got them in good spots, but
Sure.
we'll carry a portable just in case you locate them somewhere else, and then we'll move. But yeah, we'll just stay out of there. We you know, it comes a certain time and then we're done. We don't go there until it's hunting time.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is that cutoff for you, ballpark?
At least a month before it starts. Because if you spook a deer in general, it's 2 weeks for sure.
Okay.
Don't go back.
That's it's interesting. I've noticed when I kick them, I will leave them alone for it seems 21 days. 3 weeks they'll be back to a normal pattern. But if I kick them and they disappear, it's almost 3 weeks to the day that they're back. And then but they're leery. I mean they remember you were in there after them more.
Yeah, for prime example, that one that's on the wall that scored about mid-170s that I shot with the bow.
Sure.
I shot him right through the chest here, and I thought I killed him because he stood there and bled, and
Sure.
never found him. And I didn't know if he was dead or alive. And then we looked, that area, that's in that 48 because I got fenced off.
Yeah.
And we looked all over that next day, couldn't find him. So I thought he went and died somewhere.
Sure.
So it took a week and a half, and then I seen him on camera again, same spot, but it was at night.
Yeah.
It took another week before they started coming in daylight.
Okay.
And that's just before the rut started, so I think that's what made it come back.
Escalated a little
That
quicker.
escalated a little bit better.
Sure.
So then Sunday afternoon, I got to wait for a south wind, and there ain't many south winds in November or last of October.
Right.
But anyway, I had it, and I ran out there at 4:30 and jumped in the same stand, and I shot him at 30 yards.
Okay. In the same stand?
Yes.
Was it the same arrow? Same round?
No.
No. Well, that's pretty good. The interesting part of it, I had heard that maybe 3 years ago. I was listening to some podcast, and they said, I think it was Dan Infalt said, he's a guy from Wisconsin, but he was saying it's 3 weeks. And when I watched my cameras, when I would, even in the summertime, like last year I had a big one in August, and when I went and checked that camera, I didn't get another picture of him for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I believe it.
After that, and then he was consistent, and then after I went in there, after those other guys I was telling you about, then he showed up 3 weeks later, but just at night. But it was, and I've seen it maybe 5 times for sure, where it's almost exactly 3 weeks, which is, you know, and it could just be odd timing that I've seen it. I don't know. Or it's in my head because he said 3 weeks.
You're right.
But it's very close to that, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. It's definitely 2.
Sure.
You know, like I said, it was 2 weeks, and then he showed up,
Sure.
and then another week to get it into daylight again.
Right.
So, yeah.
But out of the same stand. Did he look up? Was he leery?
He was coming to the same direction when I shot him, but then I had a small buck underneath me and a couple does to my left, and the wind was kind of blowing off at an angle, and I think he got a little swirl of me, and then he turned to go smell me more. But this buck down below me, I think he was kind of wanted to come and check him out.
Sure.
You know, because there's does around.
Yeah.
Well, but then
so he was a little rut crazed, perhaps.
a little bit, but well, it was in bow season yet, early enough, but. Yeah, this other buck helped me out because he's, kept him standing there long enough, and he was watching him instead of watching me up in the tree, and yeah, I didn't have no problem. Yeah. Good. So I got lucky.
Which one was that?
That one in the middle.
And what year was that? What year was that one?
Let's say 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Did you hit low because you were excited, or was it a broadhead deal, or just happened? So you said one of the questions I ask is, do you do the mobile game at all? You said if they're moving, you do bring another hang on.
Oh yeah. And usually it ain't very far, but they might be like I got an oak ridge, and the stand that I hunt out of mostly over here is it's right on the. Because of the wind, I got to have it on what would be the west side of the food plot,
okay.
And then on, because of south wind and whatnot. But I do got a ridge that comes down to another one. So, for some reason, we might spook them on that, not knowing it, and then we shift it out and we'll move.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in relation to food, how far off food are you hunting? Or are you hunting edge?
That particular stand is right on in the food plot in the clover. It's on the edge of the woods, but it comes in an L shape right around me, and the elbow is right. I'm right in that elbow where they come from here and go to here.
Okay.
And then there's an oak ridge over here, and then the lake there. And they always stay on the lake, so then they work their way to the way far corner, and then they come. And then they head out to the big field where the corn and the beans are.
Okay. So it's kind of a staging area before they go up to the big area.
Yeah. So from where they're bedded most of the time, down by the lake, is probably 300-400 yards away.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still that's interesting. I would think a buck that size wouldn't cover 300-400 yards before
daylight.
In daylight,
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, he must have been pretty comfortable moving.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because you're leaving it alone?
Yeah, because there's nobody goes in there and nothing, and he's safe. The cows can't go in there or nothing.
Sure.
And I'm sure he hears us, driving and doing our farm work, and
right.
And yeah, he must have got safe.
Yeah.
Feeling safe.
Yeah, he was a little off. Do you do anything for scent control then?
Oh yeah, I don't.
A scent lock suit or anything like that, or
Yep. I got that hex suit. I use that, and I swear by it.
Who makes that? I'm not even aware of it.
I don't know what makes it. It's called the hex.
Okay.
Hex suit, and it's just a thin nylon kind of thing suit you put underneath your. You can wear it by yourself if you want, but we usually wear it underneath our camouflage.
Okay.
And it blocks. We got this. I don't even know what it's called. Electric aura that proceeds out that wildlife will pick it up for some reason or another, and this is supposed to block it.
Really?
And and they still see you.
Okay.
But they don't get that fear of a human. And the boys all have it, and I have. We started doing it.
Really?
And we've been in, we've made motion so that they see us.
Sure.
And these big does will walk by, and they'll see us. And before they'd stomp, circle you until they smelled you.
Yeah.
Now they'll look, you don't move, go on their way. Yeah, it's
really?
crazy. It's crazy, yeah.
I've never heard of it. Cody DeQuisto claims that they have that sixth sense, like there's some kind of and he describes it like that. He said there's some kind of electrical energy that we give off, and that's part of it.
Yeah, and these are supposed to block that. Whether
it's true or not. So now
yeah.
but it's not a scent control garment.
It's not scent control. I mean, I don't think there's anything that can completely stop them.
Oh, you're giving me another thing to buy. You're giving me another.
But
thing
yes, we will
research.
spray down that scent stuff and all what you're supposed to do. But
well, you know what? There's about 80% of the guys say out the window with that. Play the wind, drop milkweed, and just quit worrying about it. And I have a scent lock suit, and I've hunted very strictly with it about 5 times. But then when it gets game time and I'm walking a long ways and I got all my stuff, I start playing the wind again. Because
well, you're sweating. You can't stop from sweating, no matter. And it'll help. I think these scent block suits and the scent stuff. It's gotta help, and it'll, for a certain amount. But
it might tip the scale enough.
Yeah. But you gotta play the wind.
Right.
You gotta play the wind. Especially them bigger bucks. They're not stupid.
No, but yeah, I've never heard of that. A hex suit.
I think it's HEC. Yeah, I don't know the whole name. Yeah, it's just hex. Yeah, you'll have to look it up.
Yeah. No, for sure.
They even had a guy sitting right out turkey hunting, sitting in a chair like this with his decoys out, and he's got turkeys. You know how smart them turkeys can be.
They're hard to hit. I know that.
But
with a bow, they're hard to hit.
Yeah, but they usually pick you out. If you're in a tree and you move a little bit, they pick you out like crazy.
Yeah, their vision's crazy good.
Yeah, we've had these hex suits on turkeys. We wave a little bit, keep going. Before it was turn around and gone.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I'll look into it. He claims if you are freaked out and buck fever, or he's a little bit of a hippie, but he claims that if you're worked up and you're trying to picture everything and he said you're dead in the water. He said there's something you're giving off that is just some negative energy that I honestly I don't things you can't see are hard to believe.
Exactly.
And that's fine. But I honestly think there's definitely something too that if you believe when you're out there, if I go out confident on a day that everything is right, I usually see them or I kill them. Mm-hmm. And why is that? I don't have everything figured out. There's too many variables. So why does it work?
Yeah.
But it works. Mm-hmm. So are you just writing your own story? We're gonna get into. Anyway, how about? Do you play off the weather?
They talk about the red moon.
Yeah.
I wish I knew more about it. Sure. The moon phase.
Sure.
I would definitely go by it if I wasn't working and I could hunt every time it said get out there at 2 o'clock.
Sure.
But they don't work that way. So you got to hunt close to it on the weekends when you can hunt or evenings. But yeah, no, I don't.
Do you do the backside of cold fronts at all?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Don't pay attention.
I just when the wind's right.
Okay.
Cool. We'll get them moving. Or yeah, it's just a feeling. It was when I think I should be out there today. It's calm, whatever, blah blah blah. Wind's right. You haven't been there a while. Go check that stand up. It's just.
That's perfect. It's a whole different way of looking at it. And the strange thing was when we used to rifle hunt, if I went out and hunted the same stand every day, the entire day, and I was miserable and it sucked, I didn't have much luck. If I went and did whatever I wanted and just bounced around and let whatever happen, just went with the flow, I'd see bucks everywhere.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So, but maybe I think that's that negative aura you're putting out again, turned into all kinds of hippie stuff. But, but no, the moon thing, I'm not sure. If it's a full moon the night before, do you see a lot of daylight movement the next day?
I should keep track more of when I go out or what was a full moon and that night before and whatever. But yeah, a full moon. We don't hunt a lot around a full moon.
Sure.
Because you see a lot of nighttime feeding and.
Yeah, but I guys swear before the full moon, after the full moon. There's so many conflicting reports. I don't think it has anything to do with anything except if it's a full moon and it's clear the next day during the middle of the day, there's more deer movement than you. The mornings suck, but the middle of the day, I think it's because they're up all night feeding.
Yeah.
And they get restless and they move during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But I'm also not hunting farm country. I'm hunting big woods.
Yeah.
So it's they're not so exposed.
Right.
But definitely during the middle of the day after a full moon, I'm seeing a ton of movement, especially if it's in pre-rut or rut. Well, but then you're throwing that in there too.
And
That's
see,
not exactly fair.
what helped me a lot is when, you know, when I was farming,
Yeah,
I did most of my scouting from the tractor.
sure.
You know, you're out in the fields late evening, you see where that deer comes from, you know, and vice versa. In the mornings, you're out there spreading manure, and you see,
Sure.
you know, they're used to the tractor, so they weren't really that scared of it, and they'll still work. You see one walking the edge when you're 500 yards away, you got your binoculars on you, and you just,
Sure.
oh yeah, he's around yet in that strip of the woods, and so it was. That helped me a lot. And then I had a good horse that I used to go out scouting on.
Really?
I used to ride this horse all the time out there riding around, and it didn't seem to spook him as bad.
Really?
And yeah.
Well, that's low impact scouting, and they're used to
Yeah.
seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
They're not too scared of horses. When we ride, I always wanted to shoot one off the horse because, well, you can ride right by does and fawns on a horse, and they don't care. But
I used to back here. I took the horse and I'd get on the horse, you know, before daylight,
yeah,
and I'd ride him out, you know, a mile back into the woods, tie him up, and then I'd backtrack and sit on my stand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You do crazy things when you have to.
Yeah. No, exactly. So the cool, you know, they say like the first frost. Mm-hmm. If you're getting that warning, like cover your gardens. That's Andre DeQuisto says that, but it's like when that garden warning comes out, you hunt that next morning. Mm-hmm. It's always during that pre-rut time. It's the first morning. There's a bunch of frost on the ground, and the deer are. He said you don't have to, but I'm telling you.
That makes sense.
That and the other thing I've seen that I swear by is in September or beginning of October when there's a warm rain midday and it will quit between noon and before dark. If you're in your stand half hour before that quits, when it quits, every deer is on its feet moving. And it's usually, I've been hunting acorn flats, and it's unreal. As soon as it's done, there's deer coming by you. It may be better than most mornings all year. It's wild. But, so I try not to miss those.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to bail and work too. And my work is pretty good about if I'm hunting tomorrow, I'm just hunting tomorrow. And
Right.
Cover, you know.
Yeah. Well, I can take off too, and I do a lot of times if it's a certain day and I feel like it, whatever, blah blah blah. And
Sure.
feel it's the right time, then
Sure.
yeah.
So when do you see them shift? You know,
In the fall when you see them and then you don't.
Yeah. When is
Or
the
summertime.
well, both end of summer through fall? Like when, you know, there's always time.
Well, they talk about the October lull.
What do you think causes that?
It's I don't know. Everybody's got their own opinion, but deer. When you see deer in the spring, and they're in their velvet stages, they're in areas where they don't have it ain't real thick brush. It's more open areas, so they don't hit their horns and everything and whatever.
Sure.
And then when they start hardening up, you know, in what is it? Is it mid-October?
September 5th,
Yeah.
7th, something like that.
Right before bow hunting, yeah. And then they'll start hardening up. Then they'll move to their secure places where, whatever. And that a lot of times comes in that mid-October. So they're moving from where you are for them 2-3 weeks. They're moving back to where they feel safe with, you know, where they can get ready to rattle their horns and, scrape the velvet off and stuff.
So they're moving into denser cover.
Denser cover.
And
That's why a lot of people don't see them. But I'm kind of missing the point. I don't really know October lull. What would the reason be? I mean, you can Google it and find out everybody's opinion, everything. You know,
Sure.
I don't know. I guess I wouldn't know.
I think it's just pressure.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
People hunt their.
You got grouse hunting, you got duck hunting coming,
Yeah.
and people just walking in the woods looking for signs.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate that I got enough acreage that if we don't go in and scare them, there's
Sure.
nobody going to do it. State land, I don't know how you do it, because that's every Tom, Dick, and Harry is gonna be exploring that woods, and if you're in there, not in the right spot, but.
Yeah. Well, if someone's there, I abandon it
Yeah.
pretty much immediately, because I can't, if I have that factor of somebody else kicking that deer around, I mean, that takes a lot out of it.
But even here, like, I got over 500 acres here to hunt, and even then, there is a time where they seem to disappear. The kids wonder what the heck,
Yeah.
But what it is for sure, I've heard different things, but.
Have you shot any right in the middle of October?
I'm trying to think. I usually it's early or late. I've never really. I guess we don't really hunt a lot in the middle, if we don't have one sighted, because we usually see it and we know it's there and we hunt it hard and we kill it before that time.
Yeah.
Or then if we don't, we just kind of wait before that 2 weeks before the rut, and then
Sure.
when they start to move for sure.
Sure.
So we don't spook them.
Yeah, and it's much better odds too.
Yeah.
It's much better odds.
Yeah.
But if I think it's just pressure.
Well, that's a big part of it.
And people, any stand you hunt, if season opens September 15th, if you hunt a stand, the first night you see a bunch of deer, the second time it's half that many, the third time you might see one or two, and then it's just kind of dead.
Yeah.
And I think that happens kind of no matter where your stand is.
Yeah.
So
If I'm bow hunting in a stand, and I happen to see them, whether it's 100 yards, 200 yards, 50 yards, I don't go there for another 2 weeks, once I've spotted them.
even if you think you can move in and
I kind of stay out of the area, because I'll wait till a perfect wind to go back to that stand, because the stands, we've been here long enough, we know that they're in the best spot they should be.
it'll work, yeah.
Yes, and you can move, but then you might have to trim a little bit, and then you're just throwing everything you waited and worked for early out of the
Sure.
wind, unless it's rut. Rut,
Yeah.
changes everything, but this
And
is
it's crunch time.
pre-rut and everything,
Sure.
You don't want to be doing a whole lot of limbing and trimming,
Right.
or
Getting
stay,
sent all
yeah,
over.
unless you're gonna stay out here for 3 weeks or so,
So if you see one just out of range, you'll leave him alone.
I'll
that
leave
2
them
weeks?
alone, and I'll wait, yeah. We do hunt with decoys,
Okay.
Sometimes, and
How does that work?
well, we've experimented, we usually put it up as does, but that ain't good, because does are very territorial and they will bust it. They do
Really?
not, and then you're done. They'll snort at it and go. If you're gonna use decoys, my best luck is with a buck. How big, it doesn't matter, but a buck.
So how do you situate the decoy when you put them up?
Okay, I don't hunt a lot with it and everything, but my brother did more than I did, but I've shot in some, 130s.
Yeah.
Using a decoy, but nothing bigger,
Sure.
but just haven't had the opportunity. I will have it facing, they like to come towards the head of it. So if I have it facing the field, they'll come out and they'll come circle it, I don't know if it matters, but at an angle more or less, not straight on, I guess, at an angle, so they'll try circle around it and whatever. I don't put no scent on it, because, if you don't have the right scent, you're gonna screw it up anyway.
Sure.
And then curiosity, I've had three bucks at one night come to it, and I shot the biggest one. And they come from the totally opposite direction that I thought they were. Really? But for some reason, and this wasn't rut or nothing, this was in their bachelor groups. Okay. And right back here at the same spot, they come from the lake, and I had it facing away from them. Yeah, I had it facing away from the way they came, thinking they were going to come from the other way, and one come and circled it, and then another one a little bigger come and chased that one away, and then he was standing there looking at it, and he was looking, and then I looked and I seen this bigger one coming, and then he just was shaking. He didn't want to leave, but this bigger one chased him off, and then this bigger one was just ready to, I don't know what he was going to do. It wasn't at that time where they should have been fighting or anything, but he looked like he was going to get aggressive, but he gave me a good shot, and I was wide open to the way they come, but he didn't, I was maybe 12 feet up, I usually go 20 or more, but this particular, I was in a tree on a branch, and yeah.
You do go that high?
Oh yeah.
Just
18
to get out of their vision, or keep your scent string high? Or?
Yeah. Both.
Both?
Kind of. And I don't know if the vision, well, it does help a little, but
Okay.
yeah, we're up there.
Does that affect when you're shooting
it doesn't,
down?
I use a pendulum. We use pendulums where it allows for that. You can shoot from straight down to 30 yards.
Okay.
Out. Just that pendulum adjusts for that.
Sure.
You know, they say how you bend at the hips and all that stuff.
Sure.
With this pendulum, it just seemed, if I got drawn back, I was pretty confident that I was going to get it.
Okay.
And, you know, unless I hit it wrong or whatever, but I'd get the shot off. And so, yeah, we didn't worry about the angle or not from being too high out. Yeah.
No, that's a ways. I hunt a lot, 14 to 17.
Yeah.
Somewhere there. It seems like you're kind of in the, if you get higher, then you get more brush. I mean,
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm not clearing anything.
Right.
You know, even on state land, I'll clear some stuff, but how am I going to do it if I'm running and gunning? Like, I got to find a tree that I can shoot.
Yep.
And then you go up the height that you can shoot because you're not going to be clearing it. But
right.
No, that's.
But you get, you know, we're like, I got the advantage here. I got this land here, and then we got time in the spring to do our trimming and cutting, and
sure.
You know, after the years of hunting this for many years, we know what tree we can sit in, and we just got to put it up there and be ready. You know.
Oh, I clear in the spring too, but I've maybe got 5 spots that are solid, and the other ones I'm kind of. It takes me at least 3 years to figure a spot out.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
You know, it takes you probably longer than that, but you get a pretty good idea after hunting a spot in about 3 years. But when you have a bunch of them and your time's kind of split out, it makes it tougher. Are you planting food or fall? Do you plant just springtime, or are you putting stuff in the fall too?
I put either winter rye or turnips. I put, you know, in second week in August, I'll put my turnips in.
Okay.
And then, you know, June, July, August. Yeah, August, mid-August, if I'm going to put winter rye in, I'll put that in a little later, you know. Because you want that when it's just growing up.
Sure.
Everything else is brown and dead. And,
right.
Yeah. And then corn, beans. You know, beans is a good one. Springtime, they eat the crap out of the buds, and then hopefully then they leave it alone and come back with the beans. But
so what have you learned in? What is the most important lesson you've learned in shooting all these? It sounds like it's a kind of a patience game.
Yeah, passing them up, waiting for the
to
get, you know. Yeah, it's just being in the right place at the right time.
Sure.
You know, and a lot of it's scouting and letting them get bigger. I can't stress that enough. And my neighbors, you know, I shoot these big ones, so they just think, oh, we're gonna get next to this property so we can always shoot these big ones. Well, then they shoot these little ones.
Yeah.
You know, and if they would just pass them up a few times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
But it's hard, and
it depends who it is, because everybody's on a different.
Yes.
At a different level.
If you're just hunting for food and whatever, that's fine. You know.
Or if you're younger and you haven't shot an 8-point with your bow, then shoot an 8-point with your bow if you want to.
I got grandkids now that are just starting hunting, and I'm not putting no limits on them.
Sure.
Shoot. Sure. But then
just not that one.
We got enough of these that they're probably. I've got some that are 16 inches wide, and they're big 6-pointer, no brow tines. That'd be a great one for them to shoot.
Sure.
You know, they're young, they don't care what a buck is, you know.
Sure.
And then there's some oddball ones, you know, that need to be shot.
Right.
But I ain't got enough room in the freezer if I keep shooting them, you know, so I gotta wait for the right one. I shot him in the morning, trickled it there in the woods, had him.
Well,
pattern.
Yeah, if you're gonna talk about that, how many have you found in the summer then and targeted a specific one and then cranked them?
Oh, I'd say 3 or 4, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a different game though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's very rewarding.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not easy to do. The strange thing, you know, they say,
Well,
They say if
that was one of them right there that was eating in my corn half a mile away.
this one.
From where I shot him.
Okay.
Yeah. He was early in the year too. He come with 2 other bucks. He was the third one. Yeah, I seen him while the corn was growing. He was eating your tassels and stuff.
So do you think it would be hard to pattern and kill a certain doe?
You know, it's hard to tell what does are the same ones sometimes, but you know, yeah, it would be hard. They're pretty smart, but they're not as, you know, they got to come out and teach all their fawns, so you know.
Sure. I had a piebald doe last year, and I hunted that spot 5 times, and I thought I'd see her. I had a bunch of pictures of her. She was pretty white. I never seen her.
Yeah.
That's also where that monster was, and I never seen either of them. Yeah. But I don't know.
I've had some the donkey does, you know, the big ones, you know, that start bleating about, you know, 300 yards before they get to the field. They start snorting for no reason at all. Yeah. And I have them taken out.
Put them on the hit list. You're crazy.
I built this set in my garage.
What?
I built this in my garage, and I hauled wall by wall with a pulley and my tractor. Put it together up here on the deck. And yeah. Okay, you see this first group of trees?
Yeah.
The next group of trees is where that deer stand is.
And they're coming from the lake.
Yep, and they come from that far corner over there.
So when you have the right wind, you can actually watch this.
I scout
early season?
Yes. That one I shot.
And you don't worry about getting out of here?
You know,
no?
I bust them, but
sure.
I don't know if they know what it is. I climb down and I walk the edge of the field the way we drove out. That, the one heavy 8-pointer that was short tines I shot with and then that one in the middle, that bigger one.
Yeah.
I had him and 2 other ones right by that birch tree feeding while I was scouting them. So that's why I knew I was going to shoot the one 8-pointer and I'd let the other one go. But see, I'll brush that lane. See, that's pretty high grass, you can't see it, but if I brush it, then you can see deer cross. And there's another food plot down there, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you can scout the well, anything coming through here and anything hitting the fields.
Yeah, they'll come across the field and I can scout. Yeah, I obviously can't see what's in the corn, but
sure.
But yeah, I can scout quite a bit.
I've never seen a box blind up this high. You're nuts.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you built the walls, and then how did you get the walls up this high? You built this platform?
Yeah, I built the platform, and then we had the kids and some of the wrestlers up here standing with ropes.
Yeah.
And I'd lift it up, I'd come in from there with a tractor and whatever I can, lift it up as high as I could, and then they pulled it up. Took a screw gun, screwed her down. Yeah, she's insulated and everything.
Yeah, that's a couple steps. So once you hunt that stand a couple times, do you see them bail?
Sometimes I'll see them over there, and then they don't come any further. They'll just stay there for whatever reason that night. They don't come.
Yeah.
And then I'm gone for a
couple weeks.
Yeah. If it's a big enough one that if it's a smaller buck and stuff.
Sure.
And I think I got out of here without it really spooking, then I'll come back.
Okay. So you're on the swing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect.
Yeah. And see, right here's that other stand where,
this is the secondary of.
Yeah, if they're avoiding this, and I can kind of see if they're coming through here a lot. I'll put a camera up. I haven't yet, and I don't know why I don't yet, but I'll put a camera up here so I can see.
So once they start avoiding that one, do you see them swinging this bottom edge?
Lots.
Lots?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, you'll see the run.
Well, it makes 100% sense.
You'll see the run rate.
I'm not sure that's deer, though.
Huh?
All right, so that was it with Marty Aho. Those boys, they got their system kind of figured out. It's private land's a little different game than I play, but it's still a matter of playing by the rules, which they're doing. I think a lot of people on their private stuff, they're flat out not leaving it alone and kicking deer. So hope you enjoyed it. Follow the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. I've got a couple more interviews coming up with some local guys, and then we're thinking about doing kind of the basics stuff that nobody does, access, and just go through the rules and what you have to do, and play in the wind and thermals and stuff like that. And then in a couple weeks, in 3 weeks, I'll be going elk hunting, so we'll try to get that on video too. Anyway, yeah, follow the channel if you want to see some more. If not, that's cool too. So hope you enjoyed it.